Hey, this is Ben Nash, creator of the 30 Day to Super Energy program, founder of Come Alive Health Coaching Events, and creator of this video training series on how to take care of yourself during the winter season, how to avoid cold and flu, most importantly. This is the topic that so many people want to know about, especially as we're coming into that season now where cold and flus are prominent. So we really want to find out, okay, well, how do I actually avoid getting sick? Or maybe if you're feeling a bit ill already, how do I get better faster? And that's a great question, because I'm excited to share this because I know right now we've got so much information, or just based on my experience of the last 10 years, and that's not to say that I'm better than anyone else or I'm more knowledgeable than anyone else, but I've just been really passionate about this subject of taking care of our health for probably about 10 years now. And so I've been playing around with different remedies and all sorts of just playing around with my own body. And in the process, I've learned a lot, and which is why I want to share with you some of the information that I've got in my head right now. So I want to just start by asking you a question. And that question is, what is a cold to you? So a cold, you might answer that as, okay, a cold is just when I get a fever, or it's where I'm congested and got nasal congestion, I've got a bit of a cough, all this kind of thing. So those are the symptoms, okay? So those are the symptoms of a viral infection that we've got, okay? Or that we may get. In actual fact, and they're a cause of germs. So you might have an idea that you catch a cold, okay? So that's the first thing I want to do, is dispel that myth that you're going to catch a cold. And I want to start by sort of saying that, okay, we adopt certain beliefs or certain ideas based on our sort of cultural conditioning, what have you. And what we've learned, what we've been taught to believe is that we have caught a cold. Okay, so now the problem with that that belief essentially is that if we've caught it, it means it's something that's outside of ourselves that we can't control. It means it's somebody else's fault, somebody else's responsibility, and it's not ours. Okay, so let's operate from a different frame of reference while on this video, and then you can go back to whatever you believe is true later on after you finish watching. But let's just operate from a different frame of reference during the period of this video, okay? So what if we were to operate from the frame of reference of, I have created a cold based on the lifestyle that I lead? So if we operate from that frame of reference and we say, okay, if I've created a cold and it's actually my responsibility, then actually does that give me an opportunity to do something about it? And that's what I want to come from, because if you can be open-minded from that frame of reference based on that statement that I have created a cold based on on the lifestyle that I lead, then you're in a much better chance to actually learn what I'm going to teach you right now. Okay, so that's the first thing. I just want to dispel the idea that we've caught a cold, and I want to invite you to, in this moment, to say, I have created a cold based on the lifestyle that I lead. And by the way, that is not me making you wrong. It's not me saying you're bad, you're wrong because it's you that's created a cold. It's just saying that, okay, operating from a different place. It's just saying that, okay, what if that could be accurate? And it's not your fault that you've got a cold right now. It's not your fault that you get sick maybe more often than other people. It's just that you're unaware. And all I want to do now is create some new awareness around this idea. Okay? That's it. Okay, great. So thank you for bearing with me. I know it can be quite sort of challenging sometimes if we think, you know, like, oh, I've caught a cold and I'm now 50 years old and I've caught one 3 times a year, every year. And if that's been the case, then, okay, now's a chance to try something new. So great. So if you can operate from that place. And now what I want to show you is, I want to introduce you. I firstly want to just tell you a story, a little bit of a story, all based on my research and the things that I've learned in the last 10 years. And that story, it's about a doctor by the name of Dr. Isaac Jennings. And Dr. Isaac Jennings is famous for founding the Natural Hygiene Society. So for those of you who don't know what the Natural Hygiene Society, it's basically, you know, a principle to live by, which is, you know, a holistic approach, if you like. But it actually evolved from a medical background. So let me clarify that. So Dr. Isaac Jennings was in the 1800s. He was a traditional medical doctor, allopathic medical doctor. And he was practicing in a city where suddenly he ran out of supplies one day. He ran out of medical supplies and he had nothing to treat his patients with. And so he didn't know quite what to do apart from offer them lifestyle advice. So what he said to them was, if they showed up with cold and flu, or if they showed up with smallpox, or if they showed up with something else, then what he would say is, right, okay, what you need to do is you need to drink plenty of water, you need to rest, and you need to eat well. And you need to do moderate exercise when you're feeling better, or something like that. I don't remember exactly the details, but he basically gave them, because all he could do was just to give them basic lifestyle advice. But what was interesting about this is that, having practiced for 10 years already and seen the results of some of the medicines that he'd prescribed his patients, he discovered that they were getting better in a shorter period of time when they didn't have the medicines. So it caused him to question everything that he learned. And so consequently, what he did is he conducted an experiment for 20 years in which he documented the evidence. This isn't just like a 1-month test. This is pretty much a big chunk of his career. And he advised people, he gave people as a medicine, he gave them coloured water and sugar pills. So they thought they were getting medicine when they weren't. And what he found was, again, continuously, that by offering basic lifestyle advice and following some certain principles, natural health principles, that all of these patients, or a significant number of them, got better faster without the medication than with the medication and just on a placebo. Now, that's not to say because we all know that placebo plays a big effect. In fact, placebo is predicted to be around 25% of the result. Okay, so you might be asking, okay, Ben, where are you going with this? How does this have anything to do with my cold? Just bear with me a second, okay? So anyway, the story goes on is that he, after documenting this for 20 whole years, he thought that he was sure to come up with some Nobel award for the research that he'd done. And so he took it public. He brought this information to the public, and as a result, thinking that he was doing good, which he was, and we all know that right now, but he was actually viciously attacked by the medical community, and also he was sued by his patients who thought they were getting medicine. When they weren't, they were getting placebos, so they sued him. Even though they got better faster, they still sued him for malpractice and not giving them what he said they were giving them. And as a result, it was just frowned upon, this research that he discovered, which was potentially life-changing for everyone. But consequently, that was what was born. Out of that experiment was born the Natural Hygiene Society.